How's it going, super friends? Welcome to Comic Talk. I'm Brad, and I'll be your host. It's been a long time since I said that at the beginning, hasn't it? Anyway, roll the intro. So in this episode of Comic Talk, we're going to continue on talking about No Justice, the latest smash hit miniseries from DC Comics. Issue number 3 picks up, obviously, where issue number 2 leaves off. Now, if you remember last issue, all 4 teams, Entropy, Wisdom, Wonder, and Mystery, all had to go to one of the various trees on the planet Colu. 3 of the trees had to be brought back to life, had to be relit, and 1 tree had to be brought down so that the signal could then be equalized over all 4 trees. There could be some sort of balance brought between the 4. We also had a very large, very hungry hippo-looking titan standing over the Tree of Wisdom, getting ready to devour the planet, open arms, ready for a feast. Each of the corresponding teams had a tree, and at the base of the tree there was something that was giving off the signal. Batman's team, Team Entropy, discovered Brainiac 2.0 in the basement of the prison Ultra Penitents. Wonder Woman's team had discovered a tree that was being guarded by science priests. Team Mystery, which was Superman, Sinestro, Martian Manhunter, and Starro's team, had discovered an entire nursery filled with planets. In the same way that Brainiac likes to bottle up cities and destroy the planet, the Coluans have been bottling up entire planets. And finally, we discovered that Team Wisdom, which is Cyborg, Harley Quinn, The Flash, all that group of people, the base of their tree is Colu's core databank. Now, each of the teams with dead trees has to figure out a way to bring their tree back to life, while Cyborg figures out a way to remove some of the signal from his tree. Now, the challenge here is that Brainiac's suits, the nodes that attract each of the teams to their various tree, they also dampen the hero's powers, and they can't remove the suits. Therefore, it's a huge challenge. Brainiac was the key in each team to actually saving his planet. That's what he'd planned on, because in the end, Brainiac didn't actually want to save his planet. It was really about Brainiac finding a way to conquer Colu, which is a planet that had always evaded his grasp, while destroying Earth. The idea was, in saving Colu, then the Omega Titans would go to Earth and gobble Earth up next. And that way he'd be rid of Earth and all of its pesky heroes, and he'd get to conquer Colu finally. It's a win-win for Brainiac, only his head exploded and everything kind of went to pot after that. So now each team, with their powers dampened, has to find a way to relight the trees. They're basically at a superpowered disadvantage compared to what their powers usually allow them to do. Now, Wonder Woman's team is basically a magic-based team. Etrigan, Zatanna, Raven, they're all magical beings. And then you have Wonder Woman who, I mean, let's face it, there is definitely some innate magic in Wonder Woman somehow. I mean, she is dirt brought to life. I mean, if that's not magic, I don't know what is. The thing is, none of them can properly concentrate to use their magical abilities to their full extent. So how do they get around this? Well, in the end, Wonder Woman comes up with the idea, really, where I come from, magic is about belief. We just need to believe. And so that's what they do. Wonder Woman takes that lasso, the magical lasso, which obviously can't be reprogrammed by Brainiac, and wraps it around the tree, and they all just believe. They believe in Wonder Woman, and in the end, they end up relighting the tree. So in a nutshell, the Tree of Wonder at the tomb of the science priests was relit by belief. Belief in magic. At least that's what I took away from it. Catching up with Team Mystery, we remember that last issue they decided that what they were going to do was release all of those bottled worlds that the Coluans had captured and put into stasis in the same way that Brainiac does that to cities. They figured that that's the way to go to relight their tree. And so the plan, as difficult as it seems, is actually fairly simple in nature. Starro is there so that he can calm all of the people on those worlds and tell them it's going to be all right so that they don't just die from the shock. And Superman has requested that Sinestro builds a construct big enough to remove all of those worlds off of Colu and out into space. So that's what they do. Sinestro and Starfire take the planets off-world, while Superman, Martian Manhunter, Starro, they're all freed up so that they can go and help out, trying to hold off the Omega Titan of Wisdom, who is now threatening what Cyborg is trying to do at his tree. The whole time this is happening, Cyborg at his tree, who is telling Wonder Woman, hey, don't get too far ahead of yourself here. I mean, you've managed to relight your tree, but I've got a real problem in front of me, because Cyborg's powers are also being dampened. Cyborg is having a really tough time trying to figure out how he is going to push past the limitations that the suit gives him, because all of the command code that he would be able to use to access the Coluan core database is now dampened. He can't use it because of the suit that Brainiac gave him. He's like, how do we do this? How can we make this happen? And it was actually Harley Quinn that gave him the idea, just think outside the box. Why not plug into a unicorn and download a tornado? I don't know, that's my best Harley voice. Sorry, I suck. But that causes Cyborg to think outside the box. You know, I can imagine his train of thought. Box, mother box. Yes, Brainiac can reprogram all kinds of stuff. However, he cannot reprogram multiversal technology. And so instead, he hooks the mother box up to the Colu core database and starts downloading everything. Cyborg is now hoovering up as much as he can, as fast as he can through the mother box, and he's seeing everything. Colu's history and its people, and it's almost too much for him. The thing is, Cyborg can't hoover up the information fast enough and dim the tree quick enough, and so that Wisdom Titan is still on a one-way route to devouring the planet Colu. All the work that Cyborg is doing to try and dim his tree just isn't enough, and even with Superman and Martian Manhunter and Starro and the rest of the heroes trying to hold off the Omega Titan, he's just flicking them off like they're mosquitoes. It's almost like he barely even notices that they're there. Starro at one point, as powerful as he is, attaches himself to the face of the Wisdom Omega Titan, and it holds him off for just a few moments before the Titan just rips Starro in half while ripping him off of his face. So in the end, what we're faced with is a failure from all of the heroes to save the planet Colu, and the Titan ends up opening up and hungry hippoing that entire planet into itself. So even with an evacuation and saving who they could from the Coluan population, the planet itself is gone. I guess Brainiac isn't going to be conquering that planet anytime soon now, is he? The problem now is, now that Colu is gone, the very next place that those Omega Titans are going is Earth. And that's where we see Amanda Waller and Green Arrow there. Remember, they were standing around by the seed and they were arguing on what to do with it. And Amanda Waller had very little faith that anything else would work, other than praying. At one point, Amanda Waller even decides that it's probably a good idea to just nuke the thing to Kingdom Come, but Green Arrow won't let her do it, insisting that the heroes of Earth will prevail. Which, of course, as we've seen, they didn't. Colu got gobbled up and now they're coming to Earth. And what do you know? The seed lights up like a Christmas tree and begins to grow. Great. The heroes are on the other side of the galaxy. There's a whole bunch of them in stasis, if you remember. And now, if we're to believe the final page in the issue, the Omega Titans have found their way to Earth. Just like that. That ain't looking good. Heroes over there, Omega Titans here. They weren't able to stop them over there. I mean, hopefully they learned from their mistakes. Now, we know as the readers that Planet Earth really isn't in any real danger. It's just a 4-issue miniseries. They just want us to really feel the bigness of the event, with the heroes so far away and the Titans so close gazing down on the Earth. The question I have as the reader is, in their defeating of the Omega Titans, which it seems to me clearly they're going to, what else is going to happen? What are the ramifications of their victory? Or will it be a victory, and will it just be a stave-off, and will they just plan to come back later? Will the Omega Titans, for some reason, just decide not to devour Earth yet, and the heroes will have nothing to do with saving Earth? I have no idea. It really could go any way from here. I just know that Earth isn't in any real danger because the entire DC universe centers around planet Earth. Nonetheless, it's still going to be interesting to see how they finish this series out, because the next issue is issue 4, and that is the finish of the series. So far, I'm enjoying the series and what they're bringing to the table with it. I am kind of excited that this is what's happening with only a small crack in the wall and the Omega Titans being called from the 4 corners of the universe and doing what they're doing. What else is going to happen because of the giant crack in the wall? It's talked about earlier on in the issue that there are things that are so big that they're going to have to rethink how they do things in the DC universe. The very power structure itself may have to change. So I'm very excited with what they're doing. I can't wait to read issue number 4, and I can't wait to see how it's going to affect the DC universe proper at large. If I did have just one qualm about this issue, it's the fact that the artwork actually changes after the first 5 or 6 pages to a completely different artist. And I'm just never a big fan when that kind of thing happens in the middle of a story. It's kind of jarring. I've just never liked it. And to top it off, it's a style that I'm not actually too fond of to begin with. But as far as I'm concerned, the story is fantastic. But hey, this is just my take on the story. I'd love to know what you think about it. Do you think this is going to have lasting effects on the DC universe? Or do you just think this is just another stupid 4-issue gimmick that DC is using to try and get us to buy more comics? I personally think that they're setting something up with this 4-issue series, and I think it's going to be very cool to see how it then grows into something else in the coming months and possibly the coming years. But with that, I think I'm done. So if you enjoyed the video, please take the time to leave a like on it so I know I'm doing something right. Leave any comments you have down in the comment section below. And if you think you might like to become a super friend and join the DC squad, just hit the subscribe button. Remember to ding the bell because it works sometimes. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.